Hey there, YouTube land, and tonight I'm doing the complete Disney Treasure collection. So I'm actually very excited about doing this. We finally managed to get all 9 waves of the of Disney Treasure set. So basically, there were special collector's editions that were put out in these tins that Disney did. Disney tried to do like a lot of tin stuff actually. If you're onto the Disney Movie Club, you can still actually find some DVDs and kind of collector's tins and sets that are actually really cool. So Leonard Maltin had the idea to put together and like preserve a lot of the classic Disney stuff and have it uncensored for the first time, because a lot of this had become censored because certain things. Well, it was written in a time when views were different than they are now, and it's so there were some racial things and just some things that were not exactly kosher to be said in a more politically correct era. But it was they were important cartoons that should be saved and saved in their intact. Not only cartoons, but they also wanted to get some of the other stuff out there as well. So let's get it from wave. I got all 9 waves, so we're going to look at every one of them right now. Let's start with wave 1. So first off is Mickey Mouse in Living Color. This was the first one that came out, and this basically deals with. There's 26 shorts here, and it's got Mickey Mouse cartoons that were done theatrically, I think, from 1935 to 1938. And of course, this is the. It's got some great stuff in there. And I'll just open this one. I won't open up everyone, I don't think, but I will open this one here to kind of give you a feel of what the Disney Treasure sets were like. So after you open them up, you'd take them with a tin, and there'd be this like bigger box that you'd see on like some things. That would open up, and in here you'd get a booklet, which would be have like information and pictures. Every one of them would always have an art card that would go with them. And there would be 2 discs, so it would be like lots of cartoons, features, and kind of bonus cartoons. Basically, a lot of the vault stuff that would be mentioned on here as special features. That would be like cartoons that were basically uncensored and have been like lost before. But so let's for instance, let's see if they get any here from the vault. Basically, the introductions are here with the Leonard Maltin, and then of course there would be people that would be saying. I think with Whoopi Goldberg, there's one where kind of they were like racially sensitive cartoons. Whoopi Goldberg came on at the beginning to tell us, well, this was a different time, this is a different era. But I think we all know that, and at this point, I can't say everything's okay, because obviously I'm a white male, so what I say, okay, this is okay. It may not be okay. It may not be okay for everybody. It's but it's history, so we'll go with that. Next up was Silly Symphonies, the historic musical animated classic. So these were some really early cartoons that they did. And as you'll see, in the early ones, rather than give like a certificate of authenticity, kind of like, or they would put actually right here on the case, the kind of like it was actually put in there exactly which copy you had. So that one here is like 143,553 of 15,000, and these each had different print runs, but the first ones were 15,000. Again, Silly Symphonies was a really, really good one. I can't say though that there was actually a bad one in this set, but certain ones stand out more than others. Next up is the first kind of live action one. This has a lot of interesting stuff in it that I really like. And this is one called Disneyland USA, and this had a lot of their kind of the specials that they did. There's a one here that has like Louis Armstrong and Sammy Davis Jr., Fez Parker, Annette from the Cello, the Osmond Brothers. A lot of people are on this one, and this was a bunch of their things. So we got the Autotopia, which will come in a little bit more in one of the later sets, actually. So with this one, we had, Autotopia was the art card for that. See, the Tomorrowland, and there will actually be a Tomorrowland set. Which would do better than the Tomorrowland movie, which apparently didn't do very well in the box office. So this one here had the Disneyland story, Dateline Disneyland, Disneyland After Dark, which had a lot of the basically Louis Armstrong and that on it. A Disneyland 10th anniversary show, and of course the Magic Kingdom, the Magic Television. It just had like so much great stuff. Next up is one that's really, really special to me, because it's one that me and my pop used to enjoy. My pop, unfortunately, has passed away now. And my son actually would go on to enjoy this actor with me in another series that I did. It was very similar, called Daniel Boone. But when I couldn't find this one originally, and it was Davy Crockett. So this one kind of goes out to my pops, and Davy Crockett was an extremely good set. It had the complete televised series, which was really, really good. I just realized I had this playing wrong. So all the action and excitement of Davy Crockett, and I did find them exciting actually to watch when I was a kid. They were really, really fun. So here's the Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier.
I watched that too on the other side of the Atlantic.
You did?
Yeah.
Disney unites us. There were so many good ones on here. See what they call it? This is River Parks, right? Davy Crockett, Indian Fighter. Davy Crockett Goes to Congress. Davy Crockett at the Alamo. Davy Crockett's Keel Boat Race. Davy Crockett and the River Pirates. And they got a conversation with Fess Parker. I think in that one they go to his winery, because Fess Parker actually owns a winery. The Davy Crockett craze, talking about like basically a coonskin cap. Which, by the way, if I go to Disneyland, I'm totally buying a coonskin cap. I'm not just buying one for me, I'm buying one for the rest of my family, and we're going to wear them. Just saying.
No, we're not.
Yes, we totally are. You are wearing a coonskin cap. You have to give props to Davy Crockett. I'll have you know that he killed his first bear when he was only 3. You did, you know. Because after all, he's the king of the wild frontier. I have to say, it's kind of strange. I guess as I'm getting older, and when I'm doing these videos, this is something that kind of semi-personally came to me. I'll do certain things, or I'll say certain things in certain ways that will remind me of my father, and hopefully you'll be getting out somewhere, and hopefully I'll get him in a video or two. But yeah, certain things I'll say, or certain like expressions I'll make, and I'll be like, "Oh my God, that is completely my dad." When you're young, you don't really that you kind of grown that off. But as you get older, that becomes kind of a source of pride. So anytime that I see aspects of my dad or my pop and me, it's a good thing. Sorry, slight sentimental wave as I go through these things that bring me back to my childhood. So wave 2 started out where, oddly enough, with Mickey Mouse in black and white, which wouldn't be odd if Mickey Mouse in color didn't come first. I really, really enjoy the Mickey Mouse cartoons. I really enjoy the color ones. She's a bigger fan of the character Donald Duck, who everybody loves. But Mickey Mouse had a kind of a sense of adventure. It was different. Mickey Mouse was a more of a straight man type of character, so they really had to work harder to do to get his stuff to do his cartoons. His character was sit in. No matter what you put Donald in, Donald was going to be funny. Mickey Mouse didn't have that kind of set-in comedic character that Donald had. You had to work harder with Mickey Mouse to just to make different, more complex and sometimes stories. And you could went in a different way. Adventure stories. It didn't always have to be like the comedic ones. I think that with certain other characters, they did do that. They had like that crutch they could fall back on, and that's not a bad thing. I love Donald Duck. Donald Duck cartoons are amazing, but you just have to think there's a different dichotomy there completely. She's wondering if she's thinking about that now. I can see her over there like scratching her head. It's got the original Steamboat Willie on there, and of course one of the classics. Everybody knows Steamboat Willie. I gotta open up this one because it's the first of the black and white ones, and just has some great cartoons. Again, I think there's like how many's on this one? Oh, I'm not sure. I have no cheat sheet for this. I got DVD Disney up there. I can check that, but if you want to find out about these here, the site DVD Disney is really, really good. This is how we got all our information. We were searching for them. So again, there's a Steamboat Willie one. Just such a classic cartoon. And so many like great ones on here. Yeah, Chain Gang, the Galloping Gaucho, whatever. Pencil Tests on here. Building a Building, The Mad Doctor, Ye Olden Days. Yeah, there's like a lot of really different stuff. So it's really cool. And I gotta say, the newer series that they did, this Mickey Mouse and Friends, whatever it was called, cartoon. I know I got it here somewhere. Actually, I bought it. It was a Walmart exclusive. Incredible. If you never picked it up and you see it in the store, definitely pick it up. It really is a throwback to these old style cartoons. Amazingly well done. The animation I was kind of iffy on first when I saw it. Just fit perfectly into it. So that's if you're a collector, get it. So Mickey Mouse in black and white. Next up is another one, kind of a cool one. Behind the scenes at the Walt Disney Studio. And this one has like the Reluctant Dragon on here. And a bunch of others. But the Reluctant Dragon's the big one. It was like a 1941 feature film. It had animation and live action. There's like a lot of really good stuff on these here. Just so many sets. Next up is one that we were both very excited to get because I'm a huge fan of Goofy. And I'm especially a huge fan of course, the sports Goofy cartoons that used to come on in the Wonderful World of Disney, which would later be called the Magical World of Disney. And they would come on Sundays. And it would be, when I started watching them, it usually came on for about an hour and a half. The time fluctuated on how long it would be. I know later on we get the newer stuff like Gummy Bears and all that would show up on that. But most of the time when the Wonderful World of Disney came on, it was like the classic films. It was a lot of the Kurt Russell films, the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, the World's Strongest Man, World's Strongest Teenager, World's Greatest Athlete, Shaggy DA, That Darn Cat, stuff like that. Fred McMurray, God, so many of those. Dean Jones. But the complete Goofy one was one that we really wanted. It's got a lot of really cool Disney Goofy cartoons on here. It is not exactly complete though. There are a few that just did not make the set for some reason, but most of the ones that I remember and that I really love did make the set here. We originally picked this set up before. We picked this up twice. We bought the UK edition of it at one point, and it was like without the tin, and it wasn't like the original edition. So we wanted to go back and get the original edition, so we did, because it was the one that was like standing out, glaring out. It was the one without the tin, but so Goofy Olympic champ, and there are so many great ones on the Goofy set. I think there's got his fishing ones on here. See, there's like a Goofy and Wilbur, some mirror stuff, the art of skiing, the art of self-defense, how to play basketball. There was a guy, and if you have many of the those like Warner Brothers kind of movies type things, Warner Brothers classics, they do a lot of these where they'll show like cartoons and shorts and all that with the sets. So one of them, there's one guy, and I'm not sure if you remember his name, but basically the whole thing behind it was like he would do these like kind of like do it yourself, kind of like how-to type of videos that would be kind of really comical. It would be short live action ones, and the Goofy cartoons are pretty much exactly that. That is what they are. They're kind of this like comedic take on what was going on in society at the time. It was actually very advanced when you really think about it. It was just really well done. I think it's Pete someone. I'm sure you guys remember. If you can pick up one of your Warner gangster sets or something like that, you're going to see that the guy on the back. And if you ever watch one of those, watch a Goofy cartoon afterwards, and you'll see like the similarity, and especially in the how-to and like the congestion, like the traffic. The traffic one's so hilarious. So that is Wave 2. Wave 3 got back to having 4 again. So first off, they released Mickey Mouse in Living Color, the second and final volume for that one. Basically, that goes from 1939 right up to 1953. It actually does include Fantasia's, the way you have from Fantasia, but I think Sorcerer's Apprentice. But one of the biggies to get on here, and what I was very excited about, was when I opened it up, I knew that would have the rest of the cartoons. I knew that they need more because there wasn't like that many cartoons in there. And just so you know, when we got into the third year, they decided they were no longer going to just like stamp it onto the thing, but you'd actually get an actual certificate of authenticity. I was really glad when they did that. So it's 175,000 of these made. That may seem like a lot, but when you're talking about the fact that it's Disney, it's not a lot. So this one here had some really cool stuff on here. It's got Mickey's Christmas Carol, The Prince and the Pauper, Runaway Brain. Some very cool, very cool stuff. There's some cartoon comeback, of course, the voice behind the mouse. And there's some great featurettes on here as well. It was with Wave 3 that you would see the starting of the limited edition certificates on inside. So always make sure if you're getting one of those that that is inside your set. Next up was the very first volume of Chronological Donald. Donald had a lot of cartoons. He was one of the most popular Disney characters, cartoon-wise. Well, he would have the most volumes of cartoons. This one basically goes with 1934 to 41, or what's it? For 36 to 41. Just some really cool stuff. Donald's first appearance was in The Wise Little Hen in 1934, which I think is on here as well. And again, there's just some great stuff. These are really funny. Donald is one that actually translates well over today. It doesn't matter what situation you put him in; he just is extremely funny, and it's timeless type of funny. Next up is probably one of my very favorites in this entire all the waves. Walt Disney on the Front Lines. This one is scary and hilarious at the same time. At the time, Disney was, well, they were told to do propaganda films, and to basically talk about evil of World War II and the Nazis, and how we had to buy our bonds, war bonds, and stuff like that. Well, not us, but this is one of my favorites. It is freaky. So Fall Out, Fall In is one of them. They chose Donald to be their basically mascot for for the war cartoons, and he was for most of them. Though you do see different Disney characters in some of these, and like the Donald ones, like Donald gets drafted, the army mascot. You got Private Pluto, because Pluto's in this here as well. Fall In, Fall Out, the Vanishing Private, of course. They have in some of the bonus stuff. They have the what's the character's name? There's just like different characters that they do here. The Frying Pan Into the Fire, formats to Flush Riveting, of course. Stop That Tank, training film montage, Spirit of 43. But there's one here, Education for Death. That's the one. And Defer's face. But Education for Death is the most horrific Disney cartoon that you may see, and that's saying a lot for Disney. It's we get to see the life, the birth, and I guess the kind of a cute little German kid that is going to be turned into a monster and eventually be killed because of World War II, because of Nazi Germany. But you have to understand, at the time that this stuff was being done, tensions were very high, and is propaganda ever right on any side? It's just a way, when you look back on it, to gauge kind of like the thoughts that were going on at society at the time. Not that the thoughts were always were right or anything, but no matter what side of the fence that you fell on, it's interesting to look back at these, whether this be like propaganda for for American war bonds, or propaganda for Nazi conquering it. It didn't matter. It was basically the propaganda stuff was really kind of cool and interesting. It's almost like snapshots in history at the time that we don't want to see.
It has to be taken for what it is.
Yeah, it's
propaganda.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. You have to like take. You don't take it to heart. But obviously, that was one back then. It was meant to be like taken more seriously. But at the end of the day, it's propaganda, like much of the stuff that we see on TV today.
Which is not good.
But it's the way society goes. There's always going to be somebody pushing some type of ideology, and whether that's my ideology or somebody else's ideology, it gets out there. Tomorrowland is a fun one. Basically, it lets us see some of the stuff that they thought about space travel and just the way of the future before space travel and all that stuff had happened. So there's Man in Space, of course, Our Friend the Atom. There's some kind of science ones on there. This would probably be one that would be more of a favorite of my better half, so who's really into the sciencey stuff. But I do like a lot, especially the early stuff where they tell us the future. I love that stuff. Next up is Mickey Mouse in Black and White Volume 2. We're at Wave 4 now, by the way, guys. And again, just some incredible stuff. The black and white ones were particularly innovative, I found. And I just love the animation on these here. Next up was the complete Pluto, and from 1930 to 1947. Pluto is one of both my favorites, but it's one of her ultimate favorites. And it's kind of weird that Goofy, who is a dog, had was friends with Mickey, who owned a dog. Yeah, Goofy was originally meant to be a dog. He's like, so the complete Pluto, really cool. She is a really big fan of Pluto. When we were looking for these, Pluto was one of the ones that she really searched out to find. And next up, we had I love this one, the Mickey Mouse Club. It had the first 5 episodes of the Mickey Mouse Club on here. I would love to see a complete Mickey Mouse Club, but there's so much, and just so many volumes and so much with the Mickey Mouse Club. It would be really, really be hard to actually get a complete set. But I would still like to see them put more of them out. I really wish they would have done more than 9 waves. But then again, considering how much it cost us for these 9 waves, maybe I'm glad they did do more than 9 waves. She's shaking her head. Oh my God, no. With Wave 5, it started out with another Donald. Donald tended to be very popular, so it was the Chronological Donald Volume 2. And this is Donald from 1942 to 1946. Again, some amazing cartoons. Was it Volume 2 or 3 at the start with the war cartoons? Actually put them in there. So we're looking through these so you guys can see. Again, this one is 125,000. 98, something like that. And beautiful, beautiful art cards. I really do love the art cards. And every one of these. And I always made sure that everything was complete when I got these sets. If I ever had to get one that was not brand new. This one, there's one that really crosses over a little bit because it does have some of the Donald's cartoons on it from the war, like Fall Out, Fall In, and Defer's Face, the old Army game. It was interesting and kind of cool to actually see them, that they didn't actually just skip over them because it was in another set. They actually put the Donald stuff together. So if you wanted the Donald stuff and you didn't want to, grab the frontline set, you didn't have to, because some people, that's what they wanted. They wanted to get Donald, and Disney was nice enough to actually do it complete. Disney Rarities was the next one. They did a series called Alice in Wonderland, cartoon series, and it had combined live action and animation. There's a bunch of different kind of cool little rarities on there, but that's some of them. And there's some cool animated and live action shorts either from 1920 to 1960s. And since this is a different one and it is a rarities, we'll actually look into it and see what exactly the type of stuff that was on this. So this one's art card was Paul Bunyan in blue. This one here also ran 125,000. Now every one of them didn't go through the same print run, so just so you know that. Doo-doo-doo. Hate the fact that kind of times out on me. We got things like Fernando the Bull, Chicken Little, Pelican and Snipe, Morris the Midget Moose, Adventures in Music, Melody, Toot Whistle Plunk and Boom, Football Now and Then, Alice's Wonderland, Alice's Wild West Show, Pigs is Pigs, Social Lion, Paul Bunyan, Noah's Ark, Goliath 2, Saga, Wagon Smith, just a bunch from here. Some great stuff. I know everybody loved the bull and the Paul Bunyan ones. Next up was a kind of an adventure, a very innocent adventure show that was done back on the Mickey Mouse Show, and they put it all together here, the complete first season of it's here, and it's The Adventures of Spin and Marty. This would be very, very tame by today's standards, but it was very fun. It was kind of like short episodes that were put onto there, and very much product of its time. But if you grew up watching this stuff or seeing this I know my dad would probably know the Spin and Marty thing way more than I did, but I did get to see some of that stuff and kind of Disney specials and stuff. And when I used to watch The Wonderful World of Disney. Now this one I did see because they did re-show at least the Swamp Fox anyway. So this one is the Fagobacca and the Swamp Fox. Those are two popular Disney action series. So Fagobacca was more of a, I think it was a liar, wasn't he? Fagobacca was a liar, and Swamp Fox was more like the kind of like the highwayman type character. Because I remember, yeah, one of them we got in Fagobacca and Swamp Fox Legendary Heroes. Yeah. So here they actually have a cover, but their art cover for this one is a cover of one of the Walt Disney Presents comic books, which I think is really, really cool. Unfortunately, this does not have the complete Swamp Fox or Fagobacca. It's got I think they've probably been hoping to do more of them. So we have the episode 1, 2, and 5. So 3 adventures from Fagobacca, and 1, 2, and 3 adventures from the Swamp Fox. Plus there's Heroes of the American Frontier, The Many Lives of Robert Loggia, because Robert Loggia was the actor that played Fagobacca. And yeah, he was a liar, actually, back in the Old West time. It's been a long time since I watched the Fagobacca stuff. I do remember Swamp Fox pretty well because I love those kind of adventurous shows when I was a kid. I grew up on like watching Earl Flynn and stuff like that, like the really old stuff, and Tyrone Power. They'd show those old films basically on Saturdays, where I used to, where I grew up. So it was cool to see the stuff that probably that my grandfather would watch. Next up is wave 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So we finally get, because people have been asking for it for quite a while, after the first one came out, the more Silly Symphonies. So the rest of the Silly Symphonies cartoons here. So now you have a complete Silly Symphonies collection. Just some amazing stuff. Message here. Oh, cool. And hello to Parsnip, who I was messaging just on my Facebook. More Silly Symphonies, just some awesome stuff. Complete Pluto Volume 2. They actually did a second volume. They get the rest of the cartoons from 1947 to 1951. Amazing, amazing stuff. One that really rings true to me, and one that takes me back to my childhood, because every time you watch the one for Disney, for a lot of them, you'd see like tape openings and narrations or from Disney himself, from Walt Disney. And of course, Walt Disney was long since passed on. But in the early days of the Walt Disney thing, he did he would host these the episodes of the series. So they would replay those when they would play their older episodes, the nature specials and some of the older stuff that they did. So your host, Walt Disney, was that set. And I'm not sure which ones they used for that one. But I know that they used the picture of Disney, the classic picture that everybody should know. This one was this one here, like getting into like where they have different print runs. And this one was only 65,000. That would not be the shortest print run though. I get slightly choked up sometimes when I look at the cover. It shows like the silhouette of Disney and Mickey Mouse, and Disney's holding Mickey's hand. That's I'm a softie that way. So where do stories come from? Talks about how they created some of their shows. The 4th anniversary show, Kodak Presents Disneyland 59. There's the Backstage Party one and the Disneyland 10th anniversary show. So just some different stuff that Walt Disney did. Really fun stuff to look into. If you ever see any of these, like at your local yard sales or flea markets, snap them up. These things usually cost a bit of money now to get. Some of them can cost in the hundreds to buy. So if you can find them, really do. They are really, really worth it. We have the first season of the Hardy Boys, the original first Hardy Boys, where they were actually children, 1956, 57. And again, this is another one of the Mickey Mouse Club ones. Just like Spin and Marty, the original Hardy Boys series started on the Mickey Mouse Club. There would be, I think, 2 seasons of it. Because they would go on and do other stuff. It wasn't that the Hardy Boys became less popular, it's just that the Mickey Mouse Club kept rotating and evolving the programs that they did. We're getting there. Wave 7 would give us some different stuff, and would give us one kind of really unique thing. First off was Disneyland's Secret Stories of Magic, and we've been looking for that one. Actually, that was one of the ones that we wanted, and I can't remember what was the big thing in that one that we really wanted for, but there was something here. Oh yeah, People Places, Disneyland USA just presented in Cinescope with a new 5.1 audio mix. Again, this one here had kind of a neat thing that was nice. It had Disneyland tickets. So this is what the if you went to Disneyland back in the day, in the early original days, you would get like these Disneyland tickets. And this is a reproduction of the original Disneyland tickets. You could see go to Main Street, Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, Frontierland, or Adventureland. Those are your 5 choices, guys. And it was like 50 cents back then. We've looked into sometime down the future, hopefully going to Disneyland. This one here at only at a 50,000 run. This is number 27,000 of it. So they'll have kind of a concept art for the card. This was the design of the Sleeping Beauty Castle. Fantastic animation, Sleeping Beauty. Very unique and different. So this one here, Secret Stories of Magic, had some really different stuff. It had a commentary on this one as well. We got like Wonderful World of Disney, the trivia game, by the way. The Golden Horseshoe Review, Disneyland Goes to the World's Fair, Disneyland Around Seasons. Just some amazing stuff. And that's one of like the building of like part of Disneyland as well. But just having those tickets alone, that's incredible. It's nice when they put in stuff like that. And every once in a while they put in those little special things. Next up, of course, was the Chronological Donald Volume 3. So this was not an easy get. Volume 3 is a harder one to find. From 1947 to 1950 would not be the hardest one to find. That will come later on. And for the first time ever, they changed the color of the cases they were doing. Disney, Roy Disney basically had managed to do in a coup, managed to get back the original character that Walt Disney created, and the reason that the whole thing happened in the first place was Walt Disney created a character called Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Now, when he created him with I think Ewert, right? And they basically went back to do like a second lot of cartoons for it, and they were told their wages were lowered, and finally they were pretty much just locked out of their creation. They lost their creation because they didn't have the rights to it. Walt Disney thought, okay, this is never going to happen to me again. If I create something, it's going to be mine, uniquely mine, and that's it. So there came Mickey Mouse from that one, and became extremely popular. And Walt Disney had kind of a business structure that he used then because he didn't want to be screwed over again. And that's originally how it happened. So when they got him back, this gold edition for Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. And the neat little thing with this one here, this one again, they would put in a extra bonus. You would only do that with some of the special ones. And in this one, it would be the Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, the pin. Again, this one here would keep a lot with the gold. And we'd have some concept art from like storyboards from Oswald. This has all the surviving Oswald cartoons, I think. And this one here is number 44,000 of 120,000. This one got a bigger print run because he knew this was going to be one that they were going to do well with, and they did do well with it. Just some amazing stuff. If you haven't seen the Oswald Lucky Rabbit cartoons, they're actually very cool, very innovative, especially for back in their time. And you can really see where he was going with the Mickey Mouse character, which I guess in a way it was good that it happened the way that it did, because without it there would be no Disneyland, there would be no Mickey Mouse, and a whole there'd be a lot that we'd be missing out on. Wave 8. Wave 8 includes the last one we got. The hardest find for us was the Chronological Donald Volume 4. It is one of the more pricier ones to get, so to get at a decent price was extremely hard. And luckily this was the last one that we needed. We managed to find it, and Chronological Donald Volume 4 from 1951 to 1961 concluded our Donald collection and all the Donald cartoons. So now we'd have them all. Next up was one that we bought we bid on I think it was like a bunch of them at one time for a really good price, actually a really, really, really cheap price. And they were like, a lot of these were new too. This one was new actually. Um, and it was the Dr. Sin, the Scarecrow Romney Marsh. I am a huge fan of this. I saw this. They actually played this in theater when I was and this is like from back in was the 50s or 60s, but it was played in the theater when I was like in the 60s. Played in the theater when I was growing up at my at the Majestic Theater. It's closed down now. Actually, it was in Corner Brook, where one place where it was the place where I was born, and his voice scared the crap out of me. I didn't pick up at the time that it was like the actors that were in the show. I mean, like it was so well done. And this one they would do like they would go different with it, and for these, and they would go back afterwards to like the regular editions, but for this one they kind of did like a different type of style for it because it was a very different one. Normally you'd see like the kind of these like flipper discs type of thing that you'd see with a lot of the other ones, but for that one there they did it very differently. And yeah, it's meant to be very pretty much like a pretty Zorro-ish, very Robin Hood, but I find it creepy. I mean, and it's Patrick McGowan, by the way, from The Prisoner. So does that not look creepy? He had this like evil laugh too. This one here at a run of 39,500. So yeah, that is an extremely low print run. Extremely low. 1964. Amazing stuff, guys. She is unfortunately passed on right now, but in 1957-1958 season of the Mickey Mouse Club, Annette Funicello had her own little series, and it's right here. This was actually supposed to be another one of the Harvard series. It was a 20-episode series. Basically, it fit, and unlike the other series, it featured original music, including songs that helped launch Annette's career. And Annette Funicello become she would become very famous, getting away from Disney stuff later on, and doing like the beach party movies and stuff like that you would do with Frankie Avalon. They would remain, I think, close friends, and until she actually passed on. The last two are sexy beasts. I'm going to tell you right now. These are some of the sexiest tins or sets that I got, and they're just amazingly well done. I'm a huge fan of Zorro. I grew up with the swashbuckling stuff, and even more so than like a lot of the superhero characters, like the Spider-Mans and Supermans and stuff like that. I grew up like I watched the old movies and the part films and Captain Blood and all that stuff. Captain Blood's one of my favorite films. So having characters like Zorro, there another one of my favorites was amazing. And Walt Disney did a really really good Zorro. They actually did a couple Zorros, but this is the original one. This is the very sexy. I think this is a very sexy tan. And yes, there is more to it. Like the Oswald one, they wanted to put something special in there. So this would be the only ones that would be different. This would be the last. This is the last wave. So first off, you would get the Zorro pin. This one had a run of only 30,000, so it was the lowest run out of all the Disney tins, and one of the hardest to find. As the episode guide there. I hate when this thing goes black on me. 6 discs, and there's like just so many really cool episodes. It was a very serialized series, and the villains were. Let's take this one out a little bit. I want to show you this one. You're going to notice that this one is actually done differently because this one is actually a season of where the other ones were just like 2 disc sets. These are actually like it's a full season. So we got like the very cool black look with the gold on it. You open it up and you get like these, and you'll see like remember with the Dr. Sin one, they kind of followed suit with the kind of the shinier. He wanted you to know that when you were looking at this, you were getting something special. And it's true, you were getting something very special. There was no, like, looking at it and thinking, gee, I wonder if this is a good one. No, it was an amazing one. And it ran 2 seasons. And I think I showed you the second season first, so I did. So here's the first season of it. And again, just like in the first one, You get the cross swords and of course the mask, and that's another one of the pins. And it's got the Mickey Mouse like thing on the back. So you can see that. Again, we get the. I'm not sure if I showed you the art card in the last one, but they both did have one. And this one here is the. It's 13,552 of 30,000. The first season here we got Don Diego Vega.
Diego de la Vega.
Zorro. And yes, this is much, much better than that second Zorro movie that Antonio Banderas was in. Which is a shame because the first Zorro movie was actually not that bad. Since I think I forgot to show the art card in the first one, I want to do that because these are very, very well done sets. And I was such a fanboy of Zorro, such a big, like geek for it, and I still am. So I still long for them to do another fantastic, great Zorro. So I didn't show that card. This one actually has him in the Zorro outfit. So there we go. All 9 waves of Disney treasures. I'm extremely proud of this collection. It took us a long time to get it. Something that both me and my better half really enjoy together. A lot of the horror stuff I love, and she watches it with me. Some of it she tolerates, some of it she loves, and other stuff she just won't watch. But this stuff I can be sure that she is going to watch. Like many of the classic stuff and the and kind of different stuff and a lot of the sets that we watch. I know that the Disney treasures is something that I was over here as a kid watching Disney on my TV. She was over in Morocco, over there in Africa, watching the exact same stuff on her TV. Just I watched it a few years earlier than she did, because well, I'm older than she is. So guys, thanks for watching. Again, say hello to the great Pin Lord in the sky, his friend the Phantom. For me right now, my voice is going, so it really is time for tea. And have a great night. Again, thank everybody for the comments that they made recently. I really appreciated it. And when I had like a really long day and sometimes a very hard day, and I come back and I get like some really nice comments. It's a really nice. Here, Scott Daniel gave me a really good comment that I strongly appreciate. I want to thank you for that, Scott. And helped make my day. So I'm going to go and put all these back. Yeah. Thousands of dollars back. There's also one. This is not a Disney treasure, but it'll give you an idea. I'll just grab it really fast of the Disney stuff that came out in the sets. They did like signature movie editions. And this goes with my shirt, actually, the color of my shirt. Thankfully, my coats. So this one is the signature movie edition. The only one of these we got, actually, is the Apple Dumpling Gang. Rest in peace, Don Knotts and Tim Conway. I'm a really big fan of both those guys. It was really weirdly done, too. So you got it, and you get this like certificate of authenticity. You get like a poster for it. And you think they'd like, because it's like a big like tin edition, that would be like some big like set or something. But actually, no, it's not. So you got this booklet here. It goes like, you open it up. And right at the end of the booklet, actually, that is where there's like even like a little like trivia thing. But inside the booklet is the Apple Dumpling Gang. So it wasn't put in a case, it was actually put in a booklet, like something you'd find like in a... It was really strangely done. But I'm actually kind of glad to have it in my collection. I didn't pay much for this when I got it. It was actually part of a collection of movies I got at the time. This just happened to be one of them that was there. I just got like kind of a cool little casey thing. But it's very cool. So just thought you guys would like to see that one too. The Apple Dumpling Gang, the signature movie collection. So that's kind of what the some of those early tins looks like. I guess in the way Movie Cave Dave, you might say that's like a precursor to like Steelbooks. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night. And for me right now, it truly is time for tea. Go watch some Disney. Get some Disney in your life. It's fun stuff. Because after all, it's a small world.